Well, hello, good morning everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back and I've got an interesting video for you. Today I want to talk about Alone Redemption Season 5 Episode 10. This is the final episode of Season 5 of Alone. This is known as Cold War is the name of this episode. In my hand here I have a few notes, and there's a lot going on in this episode. Obviously we're going to declare a winner, things like that. So if you haven't seen this episode, I highly recommend that you turn this video off. Again, it will contain massive spoilers, and I don't want to ruin your Alone experience. So let's get started. The quote on the screen says, "By endurance we conquer." Ernest Shackleton. We're going to start on day 40, about 7:37 in the morning. There's 3 people left. We have Britt, Larry, and Sam. We are talking about Britt, and the water has frozen solid in his pot. So, I mean, it is solid. It's very cold. He decides to go fishing. It was really snowy weather, very inclement weather. There was an annotation on the screen that said something to the effect that it was 18 degrees outside. So temperatures are cold, below freezing. He's a little bit frustrated because he can't get his line out far enough into the river to reach the fish. And again, when temperatures drop, fish go to the larger bodies or the deeper waters so that they can stay a little warmer. Man, it's starting to get really tough. Let's move forward. About 1:46, we're talking about Sam. And good news, he went to the restroom. So all that bowel obstruction kind of thing that he had going on where he wasn't able to go to the bathroom, it's finished. He has went to the bathroom, so I'm very excited for Sam. That puts him right back in the game, because the last episode I was kind of under the assumption that he might quit. You know, it's a medical thing. He can't process food or have a bowel movement. He's out. So I thought Britt and Larry, that's it. But Sam's back. Sam is back, and he's back. So he says he's going to go get some firewood. And he wonders how cold it's going to be on day 50 or 60, etc. So he's thinking ahead. He's thinking very positively. His mind is solid. And he feels his strength going away, meaning the amount of the depth of ketosis that his body's in. You know, you lose your body fat, and then when body fat's gone, you start losing muscle strength, muscle tissue. So his strength is going away. He's feeling weaker. He tries to catch some fish. No luck there. He looks down at his stomach, his belly, and he says, "If there's a pinch down there, I'm still okay." You know, and he talked about it in the beginning of the show, where he was sneaking on extra food as fat on his body. And I've been saying this since the day I found out about Alone, about body fat helps people out there. And obviously Sam is very knowledgeable of that fact. Now, 3 o'clock, we're talking about Larry. He misses his family. He's out looking for some birch bark. And at first I was like, well, what does he need birch bark for? You know, what's he doing? And he decided to make some snow goggles, which I thought was very smart. So he cut these tiny little slits and out of some birch bark, and he made a very nice pair of sunglasses out of birch bark. Really cool. And there was an annotation on the screen that said indigenous people have been using this technique for over 2,000 years. I thought he did a good job on them. Very effective. You know, it just cuts the amount of light that comes into your eyes. It's, you know, and it helps you with snow blindness and things like that. And he's really starting to miss human interaction. He's missing people. He's really missing his family. His shelter looks cold. I mean, everybody looks like they're freezing out there. So it's nothing against Larry personally. I mean, everybody's shelter. I mean, the temperatures are cold out there. And he wants to write a love note for his wife like he did on Vancouver Island. You know, he wrote, I love Rochelle, I think, or Rachel. I forget what his wife's name is. But he wrote that in the sand or something like that on the beach in Vancouver Island. But this time, you know, he wants to do kind of the same thing. And he did. And I thought that was really, really cool of Larry. He wrote it on the tarp of his shelter. Very cool. He says that Vancouver Island was hard on him, very hard on him, and he feels like Mongolia has almost healed him in a way. And then he taps out. Taps out. Day 41, and I'm like, holy smokes. About, you know, a little after 10 o'clock in the morning. What? It blew me away, because Larry is a strong competitor, very solid skills. You know, Pathfinder guy, you know, he's a Self-Reliance Outfitters, Dave Canterbury guy. So I was just blown away that he tapped, because I really thought Larry had the goods. I mean, he's in the top 3. So, and he mentioned that he enjoyed this more than he did in Vancouver Island, meaning Mongolia was a better experience for him than Vancouver Island was. He said Vancouver Island really stripped him down. There was a scene of Larry walking out, you know, after he tapped. And he had his net, and fabulous job that he did on that net. So now we have Britt and Sam left. 2 people left. Day 41, 11 o'clock. We're talking about Britt. Very cool shot of him standing in the snow. And the snow looks like it's between 4 and 6 inches deep. Looks like they got a lot of snow. And Britt was talking about snow is an insulative, you know, it's an insulation. It's got insulative factors to it, and he's very happy. And he's right, snow is an insulator. Things do generally get warmer when there's snow sometimes. And he's been waiting for this. You know, he's been waiting for the snow. And one thing that he did, which caught my attention, was he made 3 snowballs, and he was juggling them. And he was singing like circus music or something, and juggling. And let's not forget that we're on day 41, and the thing that drew attention to me about that, not that he was juggling or anything, but the fact that it was on day 41, massive starvation, and he still has the hand-eye coordination to juggle 3 snowballs. That's what I noticed. So he's going to make a fire in his shelter. He had a lot of snow on his roof, and he felt like warming up his shelter might allow that snow to melt and fall off, because he doesn't want the snow to get too heavy and pull his roof down on his shelter. That'd be catastrophic. At this point in the game, that could be a deal breaker, so he's trying to avoid that. So he goes out and he gets a lot of firewood, and he's talking about how at this stage in the game it's very hard to maintain your body's core temperature. Very true. You know, when you're out there and you're exposed to the element 24 hours a day, temperatures are, you know, it's daytime and we're looking at sub, you know, 18 degrees or something like that. And you can only imagine what the temperatures are at night when they're bundled into their snow, into their sleeping bags, rather. Let's move forward. Day 42, around noon somewhere, we're talking about Sam. He has a snowball on a piece of birch bark, and it looks like an ice cream cone. I thought that was cool. Really funny. He takes a bite out of it. He's kind of talking about ice cream or something like that. And he decides to go for a walk, and he sees some signs, rabbit track signs in the snow. And he says that he's going to set up an Athabascan deadfall, which I thought was cool. And there's an annotation that comes on the screen that talks about the Athabascan deadfall, that it was native to Alaskans. I didn't know that. I thought that was kind of cool. Now, this type of deadfall, you can use a very heavy object, and it could be as heavy as you want. Very nice job he did on that. And he said he'll check it every 24 hours or so. But he set it up perfectly. From what I could tell, it looks very nice. Let's move forward. 246. We're still on day 42, talking about Britt. and he's looking around, kind of doing the same thing Sam did. He's looking at the activity in the snow, and he sees some tracks, and he sees where there was some snow ripped up and dirt and stuff, and he was kind of wondering what kind of large animal done that. And I'm kind of thinking maybe a moose or hogs or something. I don't know, deer. I'm not sure. So he decides to set a spring snare. And the spring snare that he used looks very similar to the one I like to set. And I like to use that wishbone trigger spring snare. It works good. So from what I could tell, it looked very similar to the one that I set up. And he likes the snow. He said it's getting harder every day. You know, we're really starting to struggle now, both of them. And he's really wanting, to win the money for his family. So the money is the target for him. Let's move forward. Day 43, 8 in the morning. We're talking Sam. He has a very nice shelter, and he's talking about he wants to keep going so he can provide for his family. He wants to be, you know, doing this. He's out here going through this struggle, and the motivation behind all that is his family. Let's move forward. 1 o'clock. Britt. Kind of the same thing. He's talking about his family has became his driving force for being out here on alone, for trying to do so well. Let's move forward. Day 44. I'm going to start moving quickly through the days here. We're talking about Sam. No traps were tripped, and he's starving. He's really struggling. Day 45. Britt. Starvation in his body has adjusted itself. So meaning he's so deep into the starvation thing that his body's consuming itself. We all know about that, ketosis, right? Day 46, talking about Sam. He says it's very cold. I could tap, or I could hang in there. I could keep grinding, keep going, and he decides to keep moving forward. Day 47, Britt. He says, I've been in bed for over 17 hours, and all I'm trying to do is stay warm. Day 48, Sam. How long can we go with no food? Day 49, Britt. He stays in his shelter all day. He said, I have no motivation at this point. Day 51, talking about Sam. He misses his family, and he says, I've got to keep going. It's not my time yet. Britt. He misses his family more than wanting to be out there, more than food right now. Day 53, we're talking about Sam. He says, I am physically exhausted. I've tried everything that I could think of to get food, and it's not working out. Okay, we're talking about Britt. He went outside after 4 days of being in a shelter. He says, I'm still fighting. So they're just kind of doing this back and forth thing. Day 54, talking about Sam. He says, I'm having doubts. And then he has a little bit of an emotional moment. He says, Daddy tried his best and I just couldn't do it. So he's got thoughts of quitting. Day 55. Okay, we're talking about Britt. 20-hour days, and he's been in his shelter. It's been crazy. He's thinking, if my wife saw me in this kind of condition, she would beg me to come home. It would bring her to tears. You know, he's really, really struggling. He said he just hasn't had no motivation to do any footage. Day 56, it shows Sam and Britt both in their shelters, both holding their yellow brick tap-out radios. And then you hear a radio sound like a beep or something in the background. And we don't know who's doing what. And then it shows the yellow rescue truck. And it shows a team walking in the snow, crossing the river, like they're going to rescue somebody, but it doesn't show who. I was so frustrated. So somebody tapped, right? Next thing you see, it shows Britt. He tapped. Day 56. He needs his family. I think he did an amazing job. Britt killed it in Mongolia. Much, much respect from me to Britt. He did an amazing job. His shelter was beautiful. He feels so much better than he did in Patagonia. It's crazy. Now, we're going to move forward to day 60. Now, what happened here between day 56, when Britt tapped, and day 60? Why did it take the Alone crew 4 days to bring Sam's wife in to let him off the hook? Maybe they had to make travel arrangements. Maybe she couldn't get time off. Who knows? But in my opinion, when you got two people neck and neck, and it's one of them's going to fall at any moment, I would think that it would be time to bring both families in and have them on standby. But then again, on the defense of Alone, they don't know if these guys are going to go 5 more days or 15 more days. So to have the people there, maybe that's where the 4 days was. Maybe it was travel time. But Sam's won, right? He made some snowshoes, but he doesn't know he's won yet. He made some snowshoes. They were really cool, and he was walking around in them. They were about 4, maybe 5 feet long. Really cool. And he's talking about MedChexer today. He says, I came into this show very heavy. I feel good about my weight. He said, but I'm nervous at the same time. And he's just ready to go home. He's crying. He misses his kids. And again, we got to go back where it was day something. Daddy tried his best on day 54, right? 6 days ago. And then, so he's kind of having an emotional moment, and there's his wife walking up behind him, and she is so happy. He falls down. He's just in tears. He's so happy. Like I said in the past seasons, when it was time to expose who the winner was, there was such a blast of emotions going through these people at the time when they were told that they won, and they get to see their family member, and it's just a million different emotions going on at this one moment in time, you know. And he falls down. He says, I had no idea. He said, who brought the food? Do you have food? Do you have food? Who's got the food? You know, that's the one concern that he had, and I would have too. He says, I'm gonna buy a house. He says, maybe a car. How's the car running? His wife said the car was running fine. He said that he was so thankful to see her. He said his wife is at home, but she doesn't have a tap out button. She has to win at home. And you know, that's something that I think about quite often about these shows. You know, the contestants are out there, but their family, they don't have an option to quit. They don't have an option to end this thing and say, hey, bring this dude home or bring her home. They don't have that. So and the fact that Sam recognizes that gives me a lot of respect to him for that. You know, he goes and shows her his shelter, and he said that he was angry in Vancouver Island, but in Mongolia he was thankful for everything, and it taught him how to be thankful, to get more. You know, being thankful and the positive attitude and things like that helps better things happen. And he said Mongolia was kind of like a reset button on life. Kind of reset him. He says you reach this raw state of humanity and it gives you strength. It's crazy. So congratulations to Sam. This was an amazing episode. It was an amazing season. I look forward to season 6. I can't wait. I hope you guys enjoyed my commentary on Alone. I try my best to do a good job on it. So I didn't make the cut for season 6, so I'll probably be doing commentary for that unless I'm going somewhere for 7. Hopefully that will happen. Hopefully I'll be on there. So anyway, again, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate the views. I appreciate you guys supporting my channel, leaving those comments down below. Yeah, so that's it for Alone season 5. Thank you. That was so much fun. Now my August overnighter is almost done. I've got a lot of footage, so I had over 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I'm trying to cut it down, cut the fat off everywhere that I can. So a lot of video editing, but stay tuned, because that video will be coming. Oh man, Alone is over. Congratulations to Sam. You know, it was just an amazing season. Wow, you know, I'm just blown away. We'll talk at you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.